the coronavirus alleviation program can shoulder from this fund, and that is also 40.03. And then the other 40 is for on the household is for the hot meals and the packed meals a day. And we're estimating that we will reach about 1 million people at 5 cities for the 8 days. Even though the lockdown started, the lockdown is 14 days. Government is implementing other programs that is taking care of part of the bills for the hot meals. And so for the Corona Alleviation Project, it can shoulder 8 days out of the 14 days, whilst other government budgetary programs takes care of the others. So that is how the monies were allocated.
Mr. Asare, did I hear you just say that you are going to provide meals for 8 days for 1 million people?
What I am saying is this, that government knows that the lockdown is for 14 days, and we know the lockdown will affect, people differently. And government sees that out of, the number of people they think will be affected, there are other social intervention programs that is running concurrently. But for about 1 million of these people, government ought to feed them. Government ought to give them some form of hot meal, at least one hot meal a day. And out of the several that is happening, government can shoulder 1 million. And for this particular program, government is running for other programs. But for this particular program, government is taking 8 days out of the 14 days, and government is targeting about 1 million people. Yes.
But the president stated 400,000.
For data and analysis, there are about 7 to 8 million people who will be affected differently with this lockdown. Yes, we stated 400,000, but we are doing more than 400,000 currently as we speak. And when people are hungry, you can't say that because it is this is how much it is. When the need arises, we will support in ways that we can, and that is what government is doing. So government is budgeting for those amounts to enable it to take care of these number of people.
So on back of the envelope calculations that I'm doing here, 40 million by 1 million people brings you down to 40 cities. By 8 days, that brings you 40 cities per person. By 8 days, that brings you to 5 cities per person. Do we know what kind of meals you're going to be serving at 5 cities per person per day?
These details will be given to you by the implementing ministry. That is the gender ministry. We are responsible for allocating the funds, and then the implementing ministry will give you all these details for what you are asking.
Right. Now, I get the impression from you that, and forgive me if I'm wrong, but I get the impression from you that we could expect to get funding from other sources to fight the coronavirus pandemic outside of this 1.2 billion Ghana cedis.
No, already we have the 100 million from the World Bank. Government is also taking some from its consolidated funds, and then we have this. So certainly, if there is a need to look for revenue from other sources, government will not hesitate to do that. But currently, we have this. We have from the consolidated fund as well, and then we have the money that have been put in the contingency fund from the Ghana Stabilization Fund cap being reduced from 300 to 100 million.
Forgive me for taking you back here, but on the issue of hot meals, I'm just looking at the statement now that the finance minister read, and it says that it's 40 million for food packages and hot meals. Is there any clarification that you can do for us there?
Brother, food is food. It's food. Packed meals, food. Hot meals is food. We providing food for people who need them at this time.
Okay, so let's go to the 600 million Ghana cedis line item there. That's soft loans for SMEs. So how did we arrive at this figure? Did we meet with the SMEs, for instance, and decide that this is how much we needed?
Yes, this is what I'm saying. I said from the beginning that government is trying very hard to provide some support. And looking at the available resources that we have, this is the amount of money that government can allocate for this section of businesses. The government is also working very hard with the commercial banks to see how best they can also do things for the businesses up there, where they can also receive some form of package from these commercial banks. But yes, we met with the various associations as well, and they gave us an idea. We had discussions with them, and they gave us an idea of how much they believe can help support their members.
How much do they say they need?
This is what government has made available.
Okay, so this is what government can do.
They are very happy, and they are waiting for them to have the meeting with NBSSI, that's the implementing agency that is going to come up with their criteria, and for them to work together to see how best these monies can be dispersed.
Okay, so basically this is what government is able to do as of now. I'm asking because you said earlier that you would be looking at other funding sources to, provide relief for the public who are affected by this coronavirus. When the need arises, yes. Okay, but for now, this is what government can do.
This is what government has done, and I believe that it is very substantial. Giving 600 million to these businesses with 1 year grace period and a 2 year repayment, it's a good package. And I believe that if it is well utilized, we will all realize the benefit that this money is intended to be realized.
Madam Deputy Minister, when do the 8 days for feeding the 1 million people begin?
It is not when it begins and when it ends. What we are saying is that out of the number of days that government will continue to feed people when the need arises, this particular program called the Coronavirus Alleviation Program can fund 8 days out of it. So it is not when it begins. It's like you do your budget and you're saying that, okay, this program costs X amount of money or 100 cedis. And per my budget, I can take 40 cedis out of the 100. So I can fund 40 cedis of the 100. So, you also go look for the 60 cedis and then fund the budget. So that is what it is. It is not when it's going to start and when it's going to end. But out of the number of days that we have, just as what the Coronavirus Alleviation Project can fund, in addition to the other funding sources that is taking care of the hot meals and other things that government is doing.
Now, I'm asking this question because we are currently on day 11 of a 14-day lockdown that was declared by the president. So if we are catering to feed people for 8 days, does it then mean that the lockdown may be extended?
That question is for only the president of Ghana to answer. What we are saying is this, that out of the number of days that we have for the lockdown, currently as we speak, it's 14 days. And this budget that we went to Finance Committee to approve for us to, pick up the expenditure, can be 8 days. And that is what we are saying. Let's not, it is not about the 8 days, it is about what government is doing to alleviate the impact, the adverse impact of this pandemic on its citizens. And that is what we should be more focused on and see to it that these things get to the ground. As journalists, we help us see that these things get to the ground and it's having the effect or the impact that we are all hoping it will have.
Yes, and we are all playing our part, Madam Deputy Minister. Thank you very much for drawing our attention to that. But we are simply curious because, we said earlier, being the chief spending officer, you are approving what monies we are spending where. From where I sit, we have 3 days to go in this lockdown. The monies that we have cover 8 days. If, for instance, the lockdown ends after the 14th day, what happens to the monies allocated for the 5 other days?
This is what I'm saying, that it is an expenditure that is ongoing. And for the expenditure that is ongoing, the lockdown is 14 days, and we can only take 8 out of the 14 days from this particular program. It is from this particular program that we are providing 8 days of the cost. So it is not whether we are starting today or tomorrow. These are, for some of them, costs that have been incurred, especially with the parties. And so we are taking the expenditure out of the 14 days. We are taking 8 days of that expenditure. It doesn't necessarily mean that it is going to start today and so it will end. No. As for when the lockdown will end, it is only the president who can say, who can tell us. But what we are saying is that we are taking just 8 days out of the number of days that we will have to provide food for them. And that is just for this program. There are other programs and funds running to cater for the others as well.
So you are also using some of these monies to clear the costs of people who have been fed in the past?
It's an expenditure for some. There are expenditures that have been incurred, and we are reducing the expenditure by 8 days.
Okay.
So what has been approved for?
Now, on that point, the initial announcements made by the Minister for Gender, Children and Social Protection was 15,000 Kaya and 10,000 persons with disability. Then on Sunday, the President made the announcements for 400,000 persons who are living in a disadvantaged situation. So we are catering for 1 million people for 8 days, and it may go back and defray some of the costs.
For this particular program. Particular program. Yes.
That's fair. Does it mean then that for the 15,000, for the 25,000 announced by the Gender Minister and the 400,000 announced by the President, they are not covered by this program?
They are all covered by this program. 25,000 plus 400, 425. Then there's an excess of about 550. They are all covered by this program. If you go and you see that people are hungry today, and then tomorrow you go and you still have to know. If you are hungry, you feed them. And for let's not go over and over on this food that we are providing to our citizens. I believe that it is as a result of this lockdown that they have found themselves in this situation. It is not their own doing that they would want to take these things. But if for some reason they have found themselves in this situation, I believe it's only proper as the president and as he always tells us to be citizens and not spectators, we should go ahead and provide these meals for them as long as the situation persists.
I agree with that sentiment that we must think about these people and provide a wider safety net. We are simply trying to understand where the money is going, Madam Abena, Osei, Asare. And from what you are telling us again, 25,000 people have been catered for in the past. So at the moment, that is far below the 1 million number you are mentioning for those who are going to be fed. That means the arrears are going to be cleared for the 25,000 only, or?
Oh, the budget says it's for 1 million people for the 8 days. This is what the CAP will be able to shoulder for now. I have said it over and over that there are other funds running concurrently. We have funds also coming from the consolidated funds, and we are also using some of these funds to do some of these, to address some of these things. And again, there are other social interventions like the leave and other things that are running concurrently with what government is doing. So we believe that we will achieve the impact that we want to achieve if we all support and see to it that we implement it and implement it.
Okay, let me read from page 3 of the Finance Minister's statement read before Parliament yesterday. Point D says, the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection, Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development, and the National Disaster Management Organization, NADMO, will work with MMDCEs and faith-based organizations to provide food to beneficiaries. The initial coverage will be up to 400,000 individuals and homes in the lockdown areas.
Yes.
Hello?
Yes, I'm here.
Yes, I just read the statement.
What I'm saying is this, yes, but he said that. But when he goes and we see more than 400,000 people, must you say that it is food? This is not something that is not important. This is food. This is livelihood. This is something that gives life. And if I have stated 400, and then I know I have to do more, I go and then I look at the situation, and then I have to change, or I have to up the numbers. So nothing stops you from doing that.
Okay, Mr. Asare, you see, earlier in this conversation, you mentioned that this is what government can do, and this is the budget for expenditure. So the impression that we get when we listen to you is that...
No. I said, in addition to other programs being run by government, the coronavirus alleviation project can shoulder this amount of money on the expenditure of food.
That's fair.
That is why I said 8 out of the 14. There are other programs running to help in this pandemic situation.
Yes, we are focusing on this program. That's what we are asking questions on. Forgive me if I am not making it clear that we understand there are other programs that will be running. But for the monies that you took to Parliament to justify the expenditure of, you mentioned, and the Finance Minister mentioned, that we are going to feed 400,000 people and it's going to cost 40 million. At this point...
No, you are not at the Finance Committee. At the Finance Committee, it stated it's 1 million. The document we sent to the Finance Committee is 1 million at 5 days for 8 days. So let's please get it.
Okay, I am speaking to the one that was read on the plenary, a copy of which I just read to you, which stated that the ministry will feed 400,000.
I'm giving you the breakdown. Yes, but you see the number as 40 million, and you needed the breakdown. So that's why I'm giving you the breakdown. That it is 1 million at 5 days, at 5 cities per day for the 8 days, and that will come to the 40 million.
Okay, are these two different documents? What was read at the plenary and what went to the Finance Committee, and how are they different?
What I'm saying is this. This is initially when the program started, we said 400,000. You go out there, you meet more than 400,000. What do? Our PDP, let's not hammer on the number 400 and this, but you go out, people are hungry. You see them. That is it.
Okay, so it was after you went out, then you realized that we increased the number. Right.
We have budgeted for 1 million people, and as and when we have to even up the numbers, due to circumstances, beyond their own control, that they can't fend for themselves. I believe it's only proper and right that we do that.
Right. Thank you. Thank you very much, Osei Asare, Deputy Minister for Finance, Member of Parliament for Etiwa East. It's 9:04. Winston, interesting conversation.
Very interesting, Daniel, because you see the document available to us, which was presented on the floor of Parliament. The minister talks about how government intends to feed or support 400,000 people with food packages and hot meals. It is the same thing that the Gender, Children and Social Protection Minister, Cynthia Morrison, said on Wednesday, I think on Tuesday, when the Information Ministry briefed all of us.
Which is also what the President said on
exactly.
Sunday.
Now, during the presentation, she said they identified 8 million people within the area. And based on the assistance of NADMO, decided that they were going to help 5%, which was 400,000. Fast forward that, so from Tuesday when she makes the announcement to yesterday when the Finance Minister goes to the floor of Parliament and says it is 400,000, still based on the figures, because that's the same thing the President said, and taxed MMDAs and the local government ministry together with the Gender, Children and Social Protection Ministry to do so. And so in my simple understanding of budgeting, you've decided this is what I intend to do. And this is how much it is going to cost me to do this. All budgets must be approved by Parliament. And so the Finance Minister, by virtue of deciding that he wants to spend additional funding, is gone to Parliament for approval. What we will want to know now, because the Deputy is saying that the document that was presented to the Finance Committee is different from what the Minister presented to the plenary. If I heard her right, that is what she's saying. So what's important for us to do now is to find that document
that was presented to
the finance minister, because it's confusing when you say you've budgeted 40 million for 400,000 people and say that same 40 million Ghana cedis, which is originally for 400,000 people, is going to be catering for 1 million people, because you went out there and recognized that a lot more people would need support when it comes to feeding.
At what point was that decision even made?
That is the point. That is the point. And that's one thing that we need to get clarifications on. When did we recognize that we needed more? At the time the president was making the point and said 400,000 people. At the time the Gender, Children and Social Protection Minister, the ministry tasked to take care or help with the taking care of the vulnerable, made that statement. What was the level of analysis or research that they had done to have come up with a 400,000 figure? What additional investigations did the finance ministry do from Tuesday to Wednesday when they presented it to have jumped from more than 100% to 1 million?
All right, it's 9:07. Those are Winston's questions. Do you have questions? 0244340437. Send us a message or tweet at us with the hashtag JoySMS. If you have any questions, I'm also curious, Winston. We spent a lot of time talking about the number of days. And it's also important to note that the entire idea behind feeding, Winston, was that we will feed people during the lockdown. We are on day 11 of the lockdown. People have been fed already. The people who were fed, from the information provided by the Minister for Gender, Children and Social Protection, were not up to 50,000. Because initially she mentioned 25,000, right? That they were doing that feeding. Good. We are now catering to feed people for 8 days. We don't know if the lockdown will be extended. That's the president's decision. It may go back to clear areas, but those areas are nowhere near the figure of 1 million. So how does the issue of 8 days then come in? It's also something that I do have a bit of a question mark on.
Yeah, so, Daniel, listening to the minister, now you're going to make me, listening to the minister has made the point that, this is a contingency fund. This is withdrawals from the stabilization fund, having reduced the cap. So this is the expenditure, of it. There are other funds available to government which they could use in supporting this. I know you get it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's what the minister says. She says this is what they have budgeted from the contingency fund. But there are other programs ongoing and other funds available. I'm sure we'll get further clarification shortly.
Yeah, no, you see, because we said if there are other funds available, it means there's more money coming in.
Yes.
But the current money that is there is going to cater for a larger number of days than we have left in a lockdown. Even if it's clearing arrears, there's still a large amount of money that is still there. So where does that money go is the question. You get my question now?
I get you.
But of course, you're not the one who can answer it.
Thank you very much.
It's 9:09. Winston, forgive me for hammering you this morning with my confusions. I'm going to take just a few messages. And remember, we still have our Arrive Alive conversation. Our Arrive Alive conversation is still coming up. A yeoman's job being done by the Upper West Regional Minister, I must say. And he's taking a stand against lawbreakers in his part of the country. I know, I keep telling you a little more every time I go along. It's because it's very big, very important to us, and you love it when you hear it. Stay with us.
What would you do if you have the chance to do anything in life? Build your dream house, take very good care of your family, and plan for a comfortable retirement. Plan a befitting funeral for your loved ones when they depart. How would you live if you knew there was a friend waiting to support you on all of your life's choices?
You have such a friend in Glyco Life Insurance. Glyco Life has all the plans to meet your life's needs. Your child's education, your life savings, your mortgage, funerals, redundancy, and your retirement, and takes the burden off your shoulders. So go ahead and live life to the fullest today with Glyco Life Insurance plans. And remember that all our policies are hedged against inflation. Talk to Glyco Life on 0302 218 500 or 246 142. Also visit our website at www.glycolife.com or any of our branches nationwide for more information.
Glyco Life, we cushion you for life.
Glyco, we cushion you for life.
That's my Kuchu, burning the midnight candle again.
Darling, you know my exams are close by. That's enough to worry about.
And if I may ask, have you considered a secure, reliable, and safe transfer of money when paying the ACCA, CIM membership, school fees, among others, since your school is abroad?
So hold on. Now that's even a bigger worry.
No, not when you have the ADB Visa prepaid card. It's the most recommended for all your online payments and transactions.
But I don't have an account with ADB.
That's the best part. You don't need an account with ADB. Just walk into any ADB branch with a valid ID and get your ADB Visa prepaid card. It's usable in over 24 million Visa locations worldwide. Get your ADB Visa prepaid card instantly at your nearest ADB branch.
Wow! How do you know so much about ADB?
Because they are the new spirit of banking.
For inquiries, call 0302 210 210. ADB, truly agric and more.
Every child needs to learn and play. That's why I give my kids Go TV, the best choice for kiddie edutainment. With lots of fun and educative channels for all ages, like Da Vinci, PBS Kids, Cartoon Network, Nickelodeon, Jam Jam, and Disney Junior. Learning the fun way never stops. So, mommies and daddies, keep the children playing and learning whilst at home. For sales and customer service, SMS Go TV to 1731. Go TV. Live it. Love it.
There's a faster and more reliable way to do mobile money. G-Money. JCB Bank's mobile money service gives you the freedom to send and receive money at the lowest rate from any mobile network just by dialing *422#. Check. The best part is you don't need to be a JCB customer to enjoy secure transactions with Ghana's safest bank and the widest branch network. Visit your nearest JCB branch or any branded G-Money agent with a valid national ID to register now. G-Money. Papa Naba. Chatum.
Coffee in your cup and Joy on the set. The Super Morning Show is always the best on Joy 99.7 FM.
Morning show on Joy 99.7 FM. We'll go back to the phone lines and wrap up the conversation with Osei Asare, who is Deputy Finance Minister. It seems we got cut off there, Madam Deputy Minister. Sorry about that.
Yes, okay, that's fine.
Yes. So finally, in wrapping up, what will be your final comment?
Okay. I think Ghanaians are happy about the relief that is being given to them in the various aspects, where we have 600 million going to small and medium-sized businesses, and we have about 380 going to the health sector for the relief that the President mentioned in his last address. And finally, the 280 also going to households, with 200 million going to pay for the water bills and sanitation, and the 40 million to buffer stock, and the other 40 million for the hot meals. I believe that whenever there is a need to incur other expenditures in regards to this pandemic, government will be willing, to do that, to see to it that we reduce the impact of this pandemic to its minimum, for its citizens. And we will entreat all of us to support government in this regard. And we pray and hope that this pandemic soon becomes a thing of the past. So, thank you very much.
Thank you so much. But quickly, please, by way of education of the public, which other sources of funding are we looking at if we need to supplement this?
If we need to supplement this, there are several. Yes. I mean, we can. We also have our reserves that we can fall on as and when the need arises. And currently, we've also received the 100 million from the World Bank, and we are also using our own sources, that the revenues that we also generate. So, as and when there is a need to fall on any other, government wouldn't hesitate to come back to Parliament, to the public, through Parliament, to inform as well.
So will some of the monies from the World Bank go to households?
Yes, there are programs and activities. And so, I mean, there's the activities for contact tracing, and there are several programs. So I believe that those that are supposed to go to households, yes, there is a component that will go to households to alleviate some of the impact of this pandemic, yes.
Is it true that $700,000 would go to households?
It is. And that's under that category. It is more than that. There are several that come to households, some to, contact tracers. There are several of them. There are several programs under that component. And I believe that component is about between 4.1 to 4.5 million US dollars. But there's a breakdown. Yeah. But I know there are some money that are supposed to help in this regard from the World Bank loan that is given to us.
Thank you very much once again, Abena Asare, for joining us.
Okay.
She's Deputy Finance Minister, and she just finished off the conversation that we began earlier, which really deals with the specific allocation of the 1.2 billion Ghana cedi coronavirus alleviation fund. You're still live on the Super Morning Show. It's now 18 minutes past 9. And it's time for us to move to a part of the conversation which I've really, really been waiting to do all morning. It's about our Arrive Alive campaign. But even before that, let me remind you that we'll be speaking to some of our friends from Corporate Ghana who have been kind enough to support government in the fight against coronavirus. We'll be speaking to Mr. Emmanuel Quist of Blochem, yes, he's head of marketing and communications at Blochem. Kwame Wiafi is the CEO of Wilma Africa, and we are going to make sure that we speak to all of them, even as they make donations towards our fight against COVID-19. It's 18 minutes past 9 here on the Super Morning Show. Enjoy 997 FM.
Coffee in your cup and Joy on the set. The Super Morning Show is always the best on Joy 99.7 FM.
Oh, yeah. Take your time, Mr. Driver. Life is not a dime. Oh, my brother, change your mind. In your speed, 145, you go kill yourself. You go kill another. Keep your eyes on the road. Mr. Driver, take your time.
Now, before we get to our Arrive Alive conversation, are you paying so much for very little data? Do you run out of data and wonder where all the money went so fast? Charlie, it's time to turn to the network that gives you more data for less. Just dial *700# and enjoy too much data on Vodafone. Getting too much data on your bundles from Vodafone is like asking for one thing and getting so much more. On Vodafone, we don't just talk about giving you more for less, we actually do. For only 10 Ghana cedis, you get 1.5 GB data valid for 15 days. For 20, you get a double value of 4 GB data valid for a month. And for 50, you get a whopping 10 GB data valid for a month. And that's not all. Even when your data bundle runs out, you still get to use WhatsApp, Facebook, and Instagram for free. That's the magic of *700#. So what are you waiting for? Dial *700# now, so you can browse and chill Zala on Vodafone.
If you were a
Are you looking for a 1, 2, or 3-seater and L-shaped sofa crafted to the finest details and available in various colors for your home, office, or hotel? Are you looking for comfortability, durability, quality, and perfect finishing? Look no further. Latex Foam is your one-stop shop destination. Whatever your choice and budget, Latex Foam, your partner for life. Today's agenda is brought to you by Societe Generale SG Ghana. The future is you. And Mala 2 anti-malaria drug from Ernest Chemist, providing quality and affordable medicine. And a good morning to Ernest Bediako Sampo, founder and CEO, Ernest Chemist. And of course, Yao. Good morning, good morning. Hope you're all staying safe. We need all of us alive. Now, political interference is said to be the bane of law enforcement in Ghana. If you don't believe me, listen to DSP Dr. Ben Agojo.
The whole composition of the police council is the president and the party. Why will you give us this and think that we should be professional? You cannot. There's no way you can have a professional police service. It is party.
Now that's ACP Dr. Ben Agojo. But this morning, in the face of rising numbers of deaths from road accidents, a minister has taken a stand.
I will not interfere when anyone is arrested. And the police will testify that this I have been able to abide by that.
And that is the Upper West Regional Minister, Dr. Hafiz Bin Saleh. Now, this conversation has become crucial because the usual traffic on the streets of Accra and Kumasi have cleared up because of the restriction on movements. And for the few of us who still move around, the temptation to drive at reckless speed is very high. In fact, Winston, sitting here, witnessed an incident a few meters from a police checkpoint. Winston.
Yes, Daniel. So, yesterday I stepped out briefly to get a few things done. And while I was getting back to the office at 37, so you realize there was a vehicle coming from, Bemakam thereabout.
Okay.
Or the 37 station, that side there. And another vehicle coming from Opebia.
Okay.
And there was a collision between the two of them. And it actually affected a third vehicle.
Oh.
Yes. So just in front of me, I saw, the police trying to set the situation. And, when I asked a very simple question. What happened? And he said, well, they were a bit in a hurry. If I could put it, bluntly, they were speeding. And this is the point. Of course, you actually would find the traffic light sometimes giving you an indication to stop. And people are always in a hurry to beat it, just to make sure that, they do not stop. Because also, when they stop, it would take them some 3-4 minutes before they move. And that's they would just want to beat it and save their journey another 4 minutes. And that was the situation. One of the vehicles was a 2020 registered vehicle. And from how I saw it, it didn't look like a used vehicle. It looked more like a very new vehicle that had been involved in that accident. Fortunately, nobody, was seriously injured. But imagine if someone had been injured and if somebody had lost their life. This is something that is so preventable. And this is where you have traffic lights there. It's not as if it's an intersection where you don't have traffic lights, so you go like, oh, okay, that is the reason why we had this collision. No. There is a traffic light there, not so far away from where the police were checking, people's cards to find out whether or not they had the, authorization to move around in this lockdown. And bam, it happens.
Wow, Winston, that's it's even traumatic thinking about it. And when we were talking about this yesterday, it just came to mind how we can so easily assume, you see, that, let me just beat the traffic lights. Let me just run past it before it turns red. And that split-second decision is actually what could cost us our lives. Now, OSHA UK, Ghana region, found that 94% of road accidents we see are because of human behavior. Roads contribute 3% and vehicles contribute 3%. So the other day I was talking to a former director at the Road Safety Authority. Winston, you know this man very well. And he told me that our biggest problem on the roads are enforcement. action-oriented enforcement, because road safety without strict enforcement backed with ISO standards are just entertainment. So these are times that we need to crack the proverbial whip and show no mercy. That's why I'm encouraged that the Upper West Regional Minister, Dr. Hafiz bin Saleh, is pledging not to interfere in any road safety-related arrests made in his region. Dr. bin Saleh says this promise to the police has empowered them to enforce road safety rules without fear of victimization.
I think that is the problem I have with most people. I have indicated since my assumption of office that I will not interfere when anyone is arrested. And the police will testify that this I have been able to abide by that. And that is yielding results, positive results.
Like what?
Like once we give instruction that people should be arrested, the police is aware that minister will not intervene. And once minister will not intervene, I have also given express instruction to them. They should not listen to anybody, be it a politician, a chief, a religious leader, or whoever. They should do their work. And I believe they will testify, if you go to them, that is yielding results because they are confident when they go out there to work. But I think that arrest alone will not
solve the problem.
No, it will not solve the problem. I think that what we need is to educate them and to make it very easy for them to be able to acquire road license. So we have intensified our education.
How are you doing the education?
So that's Dr. Hafiz bin Saleh, Upper West Regional Minister, talking to our own Seth Kwame Boateng.
Exactly. And you see, it's very important when political leaders or actors do not interfere in these decisions. Then it would send the right signal to people that whatever you do, you're responsible for your actions. Because, Daniel, talking about the human element of road accidents, it's very important, and it's one thing we must be very, very careful about. Look, if you lose concentration for just 1 second, you could cause the life of somebody or your own life, right? If you're overspeeding and there's a little challenge on the road, it could affect your life or another person's life. And I'll give you a typical example.
Yeah.
Before the lockdown, I was driving to work just after the police training school at Tesano. Now, there was a street light which was, had fallen on the road. Okay. And many vehicles were speeding. So I was in the middle lane. And those vehicles in the inner lane found themselves very close to this. And one trotter that was so close to me was on top speed, saw this, and then veers into my lane. You could actually say this is involuntary, Daniel. But imagine, if I were on top speed, he also on top speed, runs into me. I wouldn't be here speaking because he almost ran into my side. I came to work that morning so traumatized. And I'm not the kind of person who would, be shaken by some of these things. But I just asked myself for a minute, if I'd lost my life.
If you had lost your life, Winston.
Or if I got seriously injured and had become incapacitated as a result. That is the reason why it's always important whenever you're driving. One road safety director told me the defensive approach to driving is what if.
What if? It's a good
what if
thought to keep.
What if? As you drive, what if? That is why concentration is very, very important.
Concentration is very, very key. Always ask yourself that question, what if? What if? And that question is being asked in the Upper West region, and that's why Dr. Hafiz bin Saleh has made the statements he's made. As you heard him say already, the region has so far recorded fewer road crashes this year compared with figures from last year. And for us on the Arrive Alive campaign, we find it encouraging because Ghana saw a 10% rise in deaths from road accidents at the beginning of the year. At the last count, 393 souls had been lost to road accidents. So I asked this question earlier. I just want to ask it again. If we value our lives enough to stay at home and wash our hands several times a day, should careful driving be too much to ask? Now, Dr. bin Saleh, of course, says that the entire Upper West region supports Joy News' Arrive Alive campaign.
It's good. I have watched it a couple of times, and I think that it is good. Because once people out there hear people in position, prominent Ghanaians speak to the issue, then they listen, and once they listen, some will follow. So I think that is a good thing that you are doing, and I'm happy that you are in the Upper West region.
And that's Dr. Hafiz bin Saleh. He's Upper West Region Minister. He was speaking to my colleague Seth Kwame Boateng. Now remember, the Arrive Alive campaign is heard on radio because of our very good friends from Bedrock Insurance, protecting the things you truly value, and Toyota Ghana Company Limited, Toyota Superior Quality. Thumbs up to you guys. Thank you so much for helping us.
Take your time, keep your eyes on the road.
Now remember to keep your ears glued on Joy FM because we are currently having our Joy Let's Read campaign.
If you are a
There's more on that when we come back. But when we come back as well, we are speaking to our friends from Blochem, specifically Head of Marketing and Communications, Emmanuel Quist, and CEO of Wilma Ghana, Kwame Wiafi. These companies have stepped up in the fight against COVID-19. They are making donations. It's important that we encourage these donations, so we're going to speak to them here on the show.
If you are a bank.
But before anything else, beware of scammers. Malcolm doesn't accept Momo or online money into any individual accounts. We deliver through our authorized partners only. Our customers are requested not to fall victims of such trap. Our social media platforms are verified, and we don't publish any payments details on any of our platforms. So please take note of the above and stay cautious. Terms and conditions apply. Malcolm where Ghana shops. Do more with Absa Digital Banking in a flash. You can make free instant money transfers, free mobile money transfers up to 100 Ghana cedis daily, pay bills, buy airtime, make payments with your Absa Vertical card, and also make cash deposits on our ATMs. Enjoy convenience banking as you stay safe with your loved ones. Remember, sanitize or wash your hands after the use of any e-banking device. Absa cares. Stay safe. For inquiries, visit absa.com.gh. Terms and conditions apply.
Keep your eyes on the road. No matter the car.
There's more coming up on the Super Morning Show. Stay with us.
The pandemic has hit.
Do whatever it takes. It is in times like these that DSTV has you covered with key international and